Okay, let's talk about Trump. Let us talk about Trump. Because it seems like well, not our, I'm Polish. So I'm off the hook. Okay, that's a lie. I'm not off the hook. Because whatever happens in the US affects the entirety of the globe. Let's not kid ourselves on that front. The sad, cruel reality of the situation is that every stupid mistakes that people in the US make at the polls will affect all of us. If you doom the USA, you doom the entire world. So don't feel pressured. Don't feel any pressure to do the right thing during the voting. Lisa Blogger is white. So it seems like former President Trump, possibly shortly new president, recurring president, might become president again. Looks like President Donald Trump might not be as pro-America as we all believed. But we'll get into that. In fact, it might be that the great leader Donald Trump might actually not be as great of a negotiator, of a deal breaker, deal maker as we all assumed. I personally thought that Trump was a great deal maker. You know? Let's just forget about how he went to North Korea. He did the whole spiel about having great relations with the leader of North Korea. Let's forget about the fact that I still remember when there was this meeting on the border between the leaders of North and South Korea. Trump was like, "Yeah, I'm making this happen. I'm making this big breakthrough. I'm speaking on the same level with the leader of North Korea, and it's gonna be great. North Korea is gonna abandon all of its nuclear plans. Like its leader promised it to me. We're buds. I'm the best. I did it. I basically, pacified North Korea." North Korea was like, "Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, sure. Yeah, that's totally what's happening. Um, that is absolutely what is happening." Let me see. Kim. And then Trump returned home, and North Korea, Kim basically returned to business as usual, making Trump look like the fool. Because, of course, Trump seems to have this weird, how should I say, view of himself that he can befriend authoritarian despots, and somehow through his charisma, friend making, cake eating, doing things together, talking about things together, he can just make them do whatever he wants. I I have no clue how I'm baffled as to what the logic behind his thinking is. And he tried it with North Korea. He tried it with Russia, as we will get into in a moment. He destroyed the nuclear deal with Iran. It baffles the mind why he thinks that he has such great influence through his personal charisma over dictatorial despots. But it seems like in 2017, soon after taking office, Trump met with Putin. They were talking. They was like sort of having this little talk as leaders of the countries. And during that talk, he asked Putin, I have no idea why you would ask Putin about this on this particular matter, but he basically asked Putin, hey, should I support Ukraine? Should I arm Ukraine against those separatists in the east of Ukraine? You know, in eastern Ukraine, should I support Ukraine? And Putin was like, you know what? I think it would be a mistake if you give Ukraine support, they'll just come back and ask for more. So that's a mistake. And Trump was like, oh, well, damn. If Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin, the biggest ally and friend of Ukraine, says that, then it must be true, clearly. And apparently, the politicians around Trump sort of were nervous about this conversation and later told that they had to think of whole strategies on how to change Trump's mind on Ukraine. This is basically considered the origin point of Trump's weird animosity towards Ukraine, by the way. This is considered to be this beginning of the Trump weird relationship to Ukraine. But it also is very demonstrative of the fact that Trump thinks of himself as this shrewd, brilliant leader that is a big manipulator, that is a big sort of negotiator. But in reality, he gets played like a fiddle, but by other people, right? Like in the end, during Trump's administration, some weapon sales were sort of approved for Ukraine, but it remains a fact that Vladimir Putin was able to influence strongly uh, Trump's view of Ukraine and how Ukraine should be supported or not supported, right? He basically, and there's this very strange way in which Donald Trump seems to be putting friendships with those dictators before the interest of the United States, which is a bizarre thing to say because it seems that after, as it turns out, Trump left office when he was no longer president and when he sort of had no real obligation to talk to the dictators of the world. It seems like he had 7 calls with Putin, which is quite a lot of phones for a private person, not a president anymore, to make to the president of the Russian Federation. And it seems like the big news right now is that during a big shortage of uh, tests for the coronavirus, uh, Donald Trump has facilitated the sending of tests for Putin's own personal use. So basically, putting the interests of Vladimir Putin before the interest of the United States. When, let's be honest, tests are quite important. Getting tested is quite important. Not to mention the whole vaccination thing. My father died of COVID right before the vaccination was rolled out. Vaccination makes the symptoms go much milder than if you're not vaccinated. It has been demonstrated, has been proven, it's not debatable. So basically, the reality of the situation is that if my father got vaccinated, he'd probably be alive right now. And I'd be not in this room. He'd be in this room working on something or whatever. So I find it very interesting that the president that claims to be running his whole campaign, his whole movement, not even his whole campaign, his whole MAGA movement, Make America Great Again movement, is based on this premise of putting America first. America first. Let's not let brown people get into the country and steal your jobs. America first. Let's not continue the endless wars. Let's not fund Ukraine. America first. Let's take that American aid to Ukraine. Let's take all those weapons and ship them to Florida to aid in the flooding. America first. You know? And it seems kind of funny when you see that openly Trump is all America first, America first. But it seems like in reality, what Trump is Russia first. Or not even Russia first, actually. Vladimir Putin first, since he sent him the COVID tests. And there's this transcript of their conversation in which Putin says, "Hey, don't tell everybody that you've sent those to me. Everybody will be mad at you. Nobody cares about me, but people will be mad at you." And Trump's like, "I don't care, I don't care." It's very weird. It's very strange. America first, only watch American streamers. Listen, I'll have you know that your second favorite streamer is streaming right now and he's American, okay? And he's having much bigger numbers than me for some reason. Can you imagine that? Here this cute trans streamer is streaming and some cis dude is streaming and is having much bigger numbers than me. Oh, it happens. It's okay. I'm gonna get over it. Oh, Destiny has much bigger numbers than me. But I'm talking about Philip August's favorite streamer, apart from me. I like the framing of Putin first rather than Russia first, because wasn't Trump's Russia policy a weird mix of appeasement and escalation? I mean, he didn't exactly send those tests to Russia. He sent them personally to Putin because okay, this is me theorizing. I'm gonna preface this by saying that I have no evidence for this. I'm not treating this as fact. I'm being responsible with my commentary. I'm being responsible with my influencing the 42 people that are watching me right now. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But it seems to me, it feels to me like Donald Trump puts a lot of stock in his personal relationships that he builds between people, in his personal charisma that he sort of thinks he oozes. And it feels to me like he thought to himself, hey, you know what? If I smartly support this brutal dictator now from my personal relationship with him, then I'll be able to have him in my pocket. He'll owe me. He'll owe me a favor. So I'll be able to influence him in the future or whatever. I'll be able to have Putin do whatever I want. you know? I guess I'll just have Putin in my pocket. He'll be my, my bitch. Because I sent him those tests that one time. It just feels to me like that. He's like, oh yeah, this dictator that doesn't care about anything. He's good friends with me. I have a very good relationship with him. So I'll definitely will be able to convince him to do anything I want, even though it has backfired time and time and time again when he tried to put this theory into practice. In fact, during the meeting with Zelensky very recently, he kept babbling about how I've got a very good relationship with. I've got a good relationship with both Zelensky. I've got a good relationship with Putin. It's all gonna be fine. I'm gonna end the conflict within 24 hours. And I just don't see it. All I can see is a man that thinks he's controlling everything and is being just duped by everyone around him. That is all that I see. Alrighty.